As the showdown at high noon awaits, Eli Manning and the Chargers. Will they draft him, trade him, maybe take someone else?
Eli Manning, word out, please. San Diego with the first pick. Don't draft me.
We've talked about all this and made our comments already, and we're sticking to it.
Who's influenced you the most?
Just it's not really an influence. This was my decision. I wanted to do this. I was not, told to do this. We talked about it, and I thought it was the best idea, so I went with it.
The Chargers call your name when I talk to you after the pick. Will you be wearing a Chargers hat?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm gladly playing in San Diego.
He's trying not to smile.
As day one of the much-anticipated 2004 NFL Draft got underway, the San Diego Chargers, the long-suffering franchise picking first overall, found themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. The consensus #1 overall pick had already made it clear that he wasn't interested in playing for San Diego. But could the Chargers actually pass up a potential franchise-altering superstar? Well, what ensued was one of the biggest draft day trades in NFL history, a deal that shaped the better part of the next 2 decades for 2 franchises. In the history of the NFL Draft, which dates back to 1936, there's maybe been 1 or 2 draft classes with a more enticing, deeper crop of quarterbacks than the 2004 draft. A whopping 17 quarterbacks were selected that year, a group highlighted by Matt Schaub, who broke virtually every passing record at the University of Virginia, Ben Roethlisberger, the big-bodied Miami of Ohio QB who finished 9th in Heisman Trophy voting as a junior, and Phillip Rivers, the North Carolina State product who led the FBS in QB rating in 2003. It was a talented crop. Without question though, the crown jewel of that quarterback class was Eli Manning, the Ole Miss standout who represented the next line in the Manning family quarterback dynasty. Manning's father Archie had also been a superstar quarterback at Ole Miss who went on to earn multiple Pro Bowl nominations over his 14 seasons in the NFL. Meanwhile, Eli's older brother Peyton was then in the early stages of his Hall of Fame NFL career, a career that produced 2 Super Bowl championships and an unprecedented 5 MVP awards. And Eli, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year in 2003 and Ole Miss's all-time passing touchdowns leader, was a worthy successor in the line. A franchise quarterback destined to go first overall in the NFL Draft just like his big brother. There was only one problem. The San Diego Chargers held the first overall pick in the 2004 NFL Draft. And for a potential franchise QB, San Diego was a less than ideal landing spot. See, at the time, the Chargers were already breaking in a young quarterback, a second-round pick in the 2001 draft. His name? Drew Brees. Now, the young Brees had been inconsistent at best across his first couple seasons as San Diego's QB1. In fact, midway through the 2003 campaign, after steering the Chargers through a ghastly 1-7 start, Brees got benched in favor of 41-year-old Doug Flutie. But Brees eventually reclaimed the starting job, and by season's end, the future of the QB position in San Diego was a question mark. Was Brees their guy, or would it be someone else? Well, that uncertainty, combined with the franchise's long-running lack of success and their previous failure to turn former #2 overall pick Ryan Leaf into a viable starting quarterback, was enough to put off the consensus #1 pick. And days before the 2004 draft, Manning's camp made it clear to the Chargers he would not play in San Diego. If the Chargers selected him first overall, Manning was prepared to sit out the entire 2004 season. Eli's hardline stance, which many claimed was his father's influence, evoked John Elway, the star of the 1983 draft class who had similarly refused to play for the team that had that year's #1 overall pick, the Colts. And spoiler alert, he never did. So the Chargers had a monumental decision to make. What to do with their first overall selection, the first #1 pick in franchise history? Trade it? Use it on a different player, like Pitt wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, Miami defensive back Sean Taylor, or even one of the other QBs? Or just use it on Manning, the best player available in the draft, and let the chips fall as they may? Decisions. And when draft day arrived, it was anyone's guess as to what the Chargers were going to do.
Why don't you want to play for the Chargers?
We're not really giving details right now. We've made our decision, and that's what we're sticking to.
Who's influenced you the most?
It's not really an influence. This was my decision. It was, I wanted to do this. I was not, told to do this. We talked about it, and I thought it was the best idea, so I went with it.
The Chargers call your name when I talk to you after the pick. Will you be wearing a Chargers hat?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Good luck, guys. Thanks.
With the whole world watching, Manning made it abundantly clear. He he was not going to play for San Diego. And yet,
with the first choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning, quarterback, Mississippi.
You see now, he's getting booed all over the country.
Well, that's what's happened with this scenario here, and that's why Archie hates it, because what's happened is that now Eli is a villain.
Yep, they did it. Just like the Colts did with Elway in '83, the Chargers took the franchise QB who was unwilling to suit up for them. And Manning was pissed. In fact, after being drafted by San Diego, a crestfallen Manning told reporters that he was considering foregoing an NFL career altogether in favor of law school. As you already know though, Manning never did end up becoming a lawyer. Instead, shortly after the Chargers' fateful pick, the organization worked out a trade that changed the course of history for two franchises. See, picking fourth that year was the New York Giants, an organization looking for a long-term answer at quarterback amid diminishing returns from veteran Kerry Collins. The consensus was that the Giants would take Roethlisberger to fill that void. Instead, however, New York zagged and took a different quarterback.
With the fourth pick in the 2004 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Phillip Rivers, quarterback, North Carolina State.
As we told you, what did we tell you? As soon as Gallery was gone, now, this doesn't mean there's a deal.
Well, no,
there's got to be one.
As you could see, Rivers, who didn't even attend the draft in person, was caught off guard. Roethlisberger, who did attend the draft, was visibly disappointed. It was a stunning pick. However, as some pundits had sniffed out, moments before the Giants' selection was announced, the team had indeed agreed to a trade with the Chargers. After all the hullabaloo, San Diego would be sending its disgruntled first overall pick to New York. In exchange for Manning, the Giants would send Rivers to San Diego along with their third-round pick in 2004 and both their first and fifth-round picks in the 2005 draft. It was a draft day trade for the ages. Obviously, it's not uncommon to see teams trade up to be able to select a quarterback they really like on day one of the NFL draft. But this kind of deal, swapping a potential franchise QB for a potential franchise QB, is basically unheard of. Not that Manning was complaining. The number one pick, who moments earlier was mulling a career change, was overjoyed as he donned his Giants hat for the first time.
Eli Manning, flanked by his brother Peyton, described the sense of relief when you put the Giants cap on.
Well, obviously, we wanted something to happen to trade. We expressed our opinions of what what we wanted to happen in this draft, and we never said we wanted the Giants to do it. But we wanted a trade to happen, and obviously it did. So we're excited now.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Manning took over as New York's QB1 midway through his rookie season and went on to become an icon in New York, winning 2 Super Bowls across his 16-year run with the Giants while capturing virtually every passing record in franchise history. It feels like it's only a matter of time before Eli, like his older brother before him, gets inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Rivers also has an outside shot of getting in. He enjoyed a long and prosperous career with the Chargers, taking over as their starting quarterback in 2006 after Brees left for New Orleans in free agency. Across his 16-year run with the Chargers, Rivers led his team to the playoffs 6 times, including a run of 4 consecutive AFC West titles. He earned 8 Pro Bowl nominations, and like Manning, Rivers cemented himself as his franchise's all-time leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and games won. It's also worth noting that 2 of the draft picks the Chargers acquired along with Rivers turned into eventual All-Pro kicker Nate Kading and All-Pro linebacker Sean Merriman, both of whom were integral to the Chargers' run of 4 straight division titles between 2006 and 2009. So in the end, it's fair to say that the great 2004 draft day swap worked out for both teams. And more than 20 years later, the Manning for Rivers trade remains a potent reminder of how exciting the NFL draft can be. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.